Today, we're heading back to the switchbacks that I took my stock Forester on for a little bit of a comparison. Not only comparing my car with its new mods, but my Forester versus the latest generation modified Crosstrek. Here, we will see how each vehicle tackles different obstacles like off-camber incline, ditches, hills, and descents in rough terrain. Taking us to the meadows, where we test out our newly built camp kitchen before heading back the same way we came. How do the two Subarus stack up? Well, the results might surprise you. But you will have to watch to find out. So, let's get started. What is up, and welcome back everyone to another off-road adventure. Today we're with the Forester. It's looking good, well, because we got that hail, so I had to go ahead and polish it. If you guys didn't catch that, there's going to be an update video up here. But today we're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be out here in Ghost with Adrian and his Crosstrek. Today we'll be comparing my Forester against Adrian's Crosstrek. It's got an 1.5-inch lift, it's got some really meaty all-terrain tires, it's got some 15-inch rims, and then some sliders. So we're doing the switchback trail that we did a little while ago. This one I think is a good comparison because we know my car did it with all seasons pretty well. There's some spots that were a little sketchy, so it'll be interesting to see how the CVT in this Crosstrek handles. And we know my Forester is going to be able to make it, but I want to maybe do some more of the challenge stuff. The first section of the trail is a gentle but long climb, going through the forest and in and out of clearings, which we'll be doing all day. Because of the rain the last couple of days, many of the trail's low points became filled with water, although not posing a challenge to us. And once we passed through the last big clearing, we made the push up the side of the hill again with no issues. After only a short drive in the trees, we met our first interesting feature. So Adrian, how's it going so far? Great, Crosstrek's doing good. The fan's going a little crazy, but I think just because we're going so slow, it probably is preventative, unlike mine where it's like, oh shit, I need to turn on right away. So that's what mine does. But yeah, so we're here at the rock, kind of like this is a kind of loose, steep section. We're gonna come down here and then kind of keep on and cruising along. This isn't bad here. Coming up here, it's a little bit difficult, but coming down here is just a little bit of fun. Well, it wasn't a particularly challenging section. It was a rough one. Walking it allowed us to check for any potential rocks that could cause punctures. And after a slow but rough ride down, we continued on the trail, till we hit our first potential obstacle. Here, last time, with the all seasons, the Forester had a little bit of difficulty when it lifted a tire, but now, with this new setup, it walked it without breaking a sweat. Although, for the Crosstrek, it was a different story. With its limited independent travel, it was lifting wheels and, with the open diff, just spinning. And the CVT on the 2-liter wasn't helping either. At full throttle, it just, well, sat there. We were both a little confused. But after choosing our line carefully and giving it a bit more momentum, we were able to navigate it successfully. After navigating the hill climb, we still had a lot that laid ahead of us, so we kept on pushing forwards through the winding switchbacks going between dirt and rock. And as we came over the second to last peak, we had to navigate the cross-trek over a rock ledge. But due to the clearance, put it on its sliders. Then we just used gravity to our advantage. Although we both knew that this was going to be a challenge coming back. With the final clearing ahead, we had one more descent into the valley that lay below. Again, the trail changed. Now covered in small loose gravel, we were able to pick up speed until we hit the road. And, well, I'll use road lightly. It was a path for vehicles, and it just happened to be drivable. Here, like many other trails, it had its ruts and ditches, which we had to navigate. And after navigating the trail a little bit longer, it opened up into the clearing, which we drove across and found a place to stop.
And we made it. So this is actually the exact same spot. If you guys remember, it was like the third time we took the Forester off-roading with its stock tires and those really crappy all-seasons. This was the exact same spot. We kind of parked at and had lunch, and that's exactly what we're doing. So just a nice little clearing, which also I've been keeping in mind, maybe go camping sometime here. It'd be kind of cool to do that trail in the winter, so maybe do a winter camping trip here. But yeah, Crosstrek and my car both made it. So we're gonna open up. If you guys haven't seen, I made a little essentially kitchen for my car, so we're gonna cook some food on that, see how that works out, and then probably head our way back and see how the Crosstrek does on some of the hills going upwards. But I'm really impressed so far with the Crosstrek. It's doing great. What do you think, Adrian? Are you impressed with the Crosstrek? Yeah?
A little spooky, but...
Little spooky. He has sway bars still, and he does a little bit of tripoding, like really hardcore tripoding, as you guys saw. But he also has the rocker panel or the sliders, so when he tripods, he can just kind of rest on those and be fine, where I rest on my plastic, as you guys saw in the McLean video, and kind of wreck it. They're honestly not that bad. It's just a little scratched up more than usual. But anyways, we're gonna do what I said. We're gonna open up the grill and make some burgers. And there we go. So we finished lunch. That cabinet that I made a while ago, best thing ever. It's so much easier, so much quicker, and so just convenient to cook on here now, where before it was like trying to figure out where the grill is, trying to like set it up and then get food out of the cooler. Everything's just right there. You slide it out, you turn on the grill, and you're good to go. It did start to burn the carpet on the inside, not burn, just crisp it a little because it's synthetic carpet, but whatever. That's kind of what happens when you use it. But since this is pretty much our turnaround point, what we're going to do is we're going to head back up this kind of meadowy area and then head back up the mountains and see if we can see if the Crosstrek can do some of the more trickier stuff, because there's one place we're both thinking might be a little interesting, because last time Adrian rested the sliders right on the rock coming down, so I don't know what's going to happen coming up.
And after having a bite to eat, it was time to hit the trails again and head back from where we came. over the road and back up and over the mountain using the system of switchbacks. Here we put both cars to work, making quick work of it in the Forester. And doing the same in the Crosstrek, but with a little bit different method. On the off-axis mounds of dirt, I was able to keep all 4 wheels on the ground with my additional travel. Well, the Crosstrek decided to use only 3. It wasn't long before we reached the rock ledge that put the sliders to work. I opted to go straight for it and see what the Forester could do. And well, it acted like it wasn't even there, climbing over it with no issues. While taking the wider line, it was the same for the Crosstrek, making over it with no problem.
The Forester did great on that hill. Like, as you guys saw, I just crawled over the hardest feature there and it had no problem. Adrian actually climbed up and no problem either. He just had a little bit of a poke or a bump on the rock slider, but yeah, exactly, that's what he said. It's exactly why you have them, because when you go over terrain like that, you're gonna be hitting rocks eventually. So onward we go.
And with a few more switchbacks, we were back at the hill that gave the Crosstrek the troubles. Where, with gravity, we descended quickly and moved on to the rough climb.
Yeah, you're clear now. Yeah, you can straighten out.
Where, as expected, both vehicles performed perfectly and made it up with no issues. Then we hit the large clearing for one last time before we descended back into the trees and back to the trailhead.
And there we go. So the Forester is back and the Crosstrek is back, and they both did really well. Of course, the Forester now with its mods just made that quick work. I'm impressed of what it did compared to what it did with the stock tires. Like, as you guys saw, I climbed up that rock shelf, no problem. Where Adrian had a little bit more issues just because CVT, and well, he has 1.5 inches, I have 2 inches, and I have just a lot more lift compared to him. But Adrian, how do you think your Crosstrek did, and how did you enjoy this trail?
It was good.
It was good?
It's definitely not what I expected, but it was alright.
It was good. That's good to hear. We'll probably be doing something like this again as soon as he gets his tent. His tent is coming soon.
Yeah.
And he's getting actually the new version of my smart tent, so it'd be cool to kind of go ahead and compare that and do a little bit of a trail run and go camping. So expect to see him more and the Crosstrek, which is always a good time. But that is going to be it for today. A little more damage on the Forester as per usual, and a little more damage on his car with bumper, rock sliders, and a couple more scratches. But hey, that's what they're for, right? So whatever. But yeah, we'll be seeing you guys soon. So until next week, peace out and stay humble.
Bye.